Hello and welcome to a Creator Series special in partnership with EA and Codemasters for the preview and launch event of their new DLC, Hard Chargers. I am in the comms box with Alex. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, John. We're here for the Hard Chargers release, which is available right this second. So thank you very much to EA and Codemasters for allowing us to show it off here today.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to preview. We'll have a select amounts to preview here in a closed lobby with some of your favorite content creators. But to talk a bit about the DLC, we have 6 new stages in Greece based on the Harvati stage, 6 new stages based on the Umeå. I'm not pronouncing it correctly, I'm aware of that. Stage in Sweden as well, with that lovely spectator zone finish at the end, very iconic. But also 6 new cars, of which some are my absolute favorites. Those Hyundai car, the WRC 2021, which I got the immense privilege of having a co-drive on board with as well, is just lovely stuff. And some, I think, 18 liveries as well to add to existing cars in the game. So a lot of stuff to go through and a lot of stuff to dig your teeth into.
Certainly so, and it's lovely to see that WRC is getting the updates it truly deserves, because I'm sure you've been watching the Creator Series. We had our final round last night, and it was certainly something to savour for sure, and with this new DLC, it's going to add even more to WRC, your viewing experience, and obviously your playing experience as well. So, John, where are we going first in this brand new DLC?
So to preview, we have to start, I think, in order of the season of WRC. So we're going to Sweden first. The Umeå Sprint stage will be our first stage, and it will be in the Hyundai 2021 WRC car, that lovely WRC Plus cars, as they called them informally in the regulations, with those high downforce, very low weight cars before the hybrid era of the Rally 1 cars. So it's quite literally a hard charger. The point of this DLC is a sort of homage, as they say in French, a sort of cherishing of people and drivers and cars that have been flat out over the years and fan favorites. And it's lovely to see a lot of drivers that have been paid tribute. I'm going to name a few: Malcolm Wilson, Marcus Grönholm, Gundaf Evans, Craig Breen. There's a few liveries of Craig Breen in there, and a lot of other drivers that have been iconic and cherished by fans all around the world.
Yeah, and that is what is going to be very exciting for us, and we
have a preview of the stage, which is footage of replay of this lovely Mark 1 Escort, which started sort of the last era of the rear-wheel drive cars in what was pre-WRC. The World Rally Championship did not exist yet, and it was this car that sort of started the shift towards purpose-built rally cars. Ford really made versions of this car, especially the Ford Escort Mexico version, which was made after the 1970 London to Mexico rally event, which was a 25,000 kilometer event, which just gives you the scope of rallies back then, to commemorate, I think it was the World Cup moving from London to Mexico City in 1970. And that sparked the development of this car, which became so iconic, basically becoming unbeatable in the late 60s and early 70s, replaced obviously by the Mark II, which is cherished by many. This is the 1600 RS version of the car, and that noise, that sound, that drifting through the Greek stages is iconic, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. You see the dust being kicked up by this fantastic car, and of course, a bit of playback on our on the new Greece stage, I believe. So it is very exciting to see one of these cars drive around this brand new stage. That, of course, let's not forget, you guys can get your hands on today. You can get it now while you're watching the stream, or you can do it afterwards. But make sure you pick up this DLC, because it is going to be 100% worth your time and money for sure.
Yeah, having driven this car on this stage, but also on other stages on tarmac as well, I can really say this is becoming one of my favourites already. A very nimble car, quite easy to control, but still drifting, as you can see, throughout the corners. And what really denotes this car is the lightweightness of it, the feel of always being in control, but always being able to play with the car. Very easy to lock the rear brakes and just drift into the corners. It's a very playful car, and one that I'd say is very easy for learning rear-wheel drive, and so this will become a favorite with not only the experienced players but also new players that are looking to get into the classic cars but find maybe some of the higher powered cars like the BMW M1 a little bit too tricky to drive. This one's going to be really, really good. Having tested it on this Harvati stage in Greece, and indeed on an existing stage, Pradellart in Monte Carlo, I can say I had the biggest grin on my face since the start of the game, I must say. But as you can see with this stage as well, it's very reminiscent of stages that we've seen in the past from Codemasters in Rally Greece, and so I love that difference in feeling with the hairpin style of the stages, but also a lot of open areas as well, where you go along a valley between two mountain tops, and it's lovely to see a difference in tempo.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's lovely to see these cars. In my very short career commentating on rally, I've learned to understand the aspect of a feeling of a stage and the feeling of a car underneath them, and I think these drivers are going to thoroughly enjoy these new cars. I know, John, you've already declared your love for these cars. I'm sure you're going to be using them in the next season of Creator Series if we get the opportunity to.
If I do, I hope I don't end up on my roof like I usually do in rear-wheel drive, because I always tend to push really hard with these rear-wheel drive cars. They're just so much fun, and so you get caught up into trying to go that km/h faster into the corners, and it's real good fun. That's one word that I'd use to describe this update. It's just all of the cars just are very playful, and the setups, the default setup, very easy to drive. So it's lovely to see, and as you can see, Scandinavian flicking. We'll avoid the little wheel tap there, just testing the sturdy axle of the Mark 1 Escort. That is one of the things about the older rally cars. They are built quite sturdy as well, so that's lovely. I am getting word that we might be getting ready to start stage 1 in a couple of minutes. So we've got a closed lobby just getting set up with some of our favorite content creators, and some of them you'll recognize from the Creator Series. Others are joining in as well, and it's going to be so fun to see how they get on with these cars. Many of them probably are picking up the update for the first time, and I can say they'll probably want to start off with Sweden, as Greece is a little bit into the frying pan right from the get-go, so they'll have a nice warm-up with the Omer stage, which is very fast stage. You've got a lot of junctions at the start of it, and you really have to choose your braking points, but then at the end it becomes quite flowing, quite twisty, and so you've got to modify your driving style, and you have to adapt, as always in rally.
Yeah, you certainly do. From just watching that little bit of playback footage, it's going to be very interesting to see how our drivers get on. But we are going to, I believe, as you mentioned, Sweden in just a few moments' time, which I'm very much looking forward to. Now, what is our differences here with this new stage we've got in Sweden compared to what we may have seen before here in WRC?
Yeah, so the stages that we had in the game before are more to the south of the Umea stages. I apologize for my pronunciation. I've tried many times to get it perfect, but it hasn't worked. But the stages were run more to the south, and so in the past years, especially since, say, 2019, they've had very little snowfall. In fact, in 2020, it was basically a gravel rally, even in February. So really difficult conditions. So they decided to move the stages north, so that they could guarantee snow conditions. In 2021, the year of the Hyundai car that they're going to be driving, they had a trial rally, Arctic Rally Finland, which demonstrated that they could get the good snow conditions just if they moved the stages and the rally closer to the Arctic Circle. And so they replicated that with Sweden. And so you've got high snow banks, a lot more flowing, fast roads, because there's less people that live in the harsh conditions. And so, as you can see, we're on stage now on board with Vlembar, and you can see the lovely downforce aerodynamics of these cars. I am a bit of a fan of aerodynamics and aerodynamic analysis, and so this car is just right up my street. Lovely stuff with the differentials. I must say, when I drove this car, I was like, this has so much grip and so much turn, and it's wonderful. And I must say, I'll be able, I think, between stage 1 and stage 2 to give you a sort of rundown of the differences, and possibly even play back the the co-drive video that I had of my onboard, and I'll be able to describe briefly the differences. But as you can see, big aerodynamics, huge rear wing that was new to the car in 2020, and so they did a lot of development to give a lot of turn-in on this. And so it means that on these flowing sections, you can really just go full throttle and power through the corners, as Vlembar is demonstrating so well right now.
Yeah, and of all the drivers we'd like to watch, I mean, we have some very fast drivers here in WRC, but Vlembar, of course, being vice champion, coming out of the last race in Creator Series, he is very much enjoying this Swedish stage right now. But he's actually a bit slower than our maiden Henry Cookie, who may be giving you a run for his money next season, John. But Vlembar is certainly enjoying this out here, and you can just see how well that car is turning into the corners and how well it is making this this Swedish stage look even better, because I've got to say, visually it looks fantastic as well.
Oh yeah, the trees, the visuals of the trees, those very high snowbanks, which you can use. You can actually just brush the snowbanks to try and get you a little bit more exit speed, and there's a lot of technical stuff. Although if you hit the inside snowbank and then bounce onto the outside one, that's a technique maybe not the fastest, but as you can see, you can clip the outside of the snowbanks and carry on, which is lovely to see. I've always been wanting to replicate the feeling that I got from Colin McRae Rally 2.0 all those years ago, just using the snowbanks a little bit. And this stage nails it completely. They're just about to come into this spectator section. I think it's a rallycross track in real life, the Red Barn Arena, as it's called. And because there is a red barn, as you might be able to see it in a minute. But yeah, very, very tricky section, high snowbanks, but you can drift through the corners. A very tricky stage in this, as some of the snow isn't compacted, so you're drifting quite a lot. But with these cars, with the immense grip and downforce that they have, you can just send it through the turns, and it's a very, very enjoyable experience, and one that you get faster at every single time you do it. Lovely drift there from Henry Cookie.
Yeah, and he's just come up towards the flying finish. He does a 305, I think he pulled off there, but 304. Yeah, very fast indeed for Henry Cookie. As we see, a couple of the others are coming towards the finish as well, and so for Lotus. And we do apologise for a slight, I think this is more stream technical problems. But Gareth is
technical issues
on fixing it. Yes.
But as you can see from the stages already, there's two things I want to mention straight away is the lighting. I really think, there was an update a few updates ago with the lighting on the snow stages, and it's much easier to see the roads now, much easier to sort of get a view of the snowbanks. I'm hearing we're going to go to a little preview of the co-driver experience that I had, uh, possibly, and yes, I'm getting confirmation of that, and yeah, I will be able to talk through that afterwards.
The acceleration. The brakes are incredible. Feels like you're driving on tarmac. Oh, lovely on the handbrake. What a legend. Dancing on the pedals. Sign of a brilliant rally driver. You feel the differentials. Feel the tires gripping, everything working. Not the aerodynamics of this speed, but my God. You can get on throttle so early. Oh, lovely done. Incredible. Just how much dig the car has as well. It feels like it's always oversteering. Lovely. Let's just go up.
So as you saw in that brief demonstration of what the real-life car looks like, we're back to the gameplay here on the UMS stage for Stage 2. And as you could see in there, the car handles, as I could tell from the co-driver's seat, it's got so much turn-in on the front. They made a lot of aerodynamic updates to the car for 2021. And so when you just turn in, you feel like you're pivoting on the front axle and the rear of the car is following. And that's exactly the feeling that I got from even the default setup in the game. Quite oversteery, quite easy to drive, and it just felt as soon as Hayden Paddon got on the power, he was driving the car that day alongside Danny Sordo for some of the other co-driver experiences as well. As soon as they got back on throttle, it was like you could feel the tires grip up individually, and I must admit the game gives a great sort of force feedback impression of that grip and ungripping of the tires and loss of traction. So I felt like it was, I'd say 90%. Obviously, you can't get 100% because you need the G-forces, etc. Love to have a motion rig, maybe one day. But big roll from Ancephalosis there. Oh, that's the problem with these stages. And unfortunately, the aerodynamics are gone from that car now. So maybe he'll have a little bit of oversteering problems there. As we've got Mr. Bailey along as well. Stephen Bailey, lovely to see him there. And it looks like he's gone for a little bit of a tumble into a snowbank as well. There's that front bumper is looking a bit dodgy right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite the spectacular tumble there from Ancephalosis. He is now out without his rear door, and it will definitely lose him a little bit of downforce, as you were mentioning. But yeah, watching you be a co-driver in this car was quite incredible. As they go through a very narrow tunnel. I was going to point out this to you, John. Watching these cars, there does not seem like there's a lot of room between the width of the car and the width of the stage they're running on, because there is not a lot of difference.
I mean, it's the width of a snowplow, right? You know, a snowplow goes along in the morning, clears the stage, and hopefully it stays clear with no snow falling afterwards. It is the case that in Rally Sweden and any other snow rally, the roads are quite narrow, and so you've got to really pay attention. And the main problem is actually spotting the junctions, because you've got that very high snowbank. In contrary to the Sweden stages that we have in previous the launch game, let's say the first iteration of the game, you've got that lack of visibility with these snowbanks, and so it means that you have to listen to the pace notes even more. You have to take in the information, process it, and come up with a plan of where you're going to brake, because some of these junctions come out of nowhere. There are the arrows there to tell you where to turn, but when you're going so fast, when you're having so much fun, at least in my case, I didn't spot them sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you're more paying attention. I mean, if I was on this kind of... this is my first time commentating at WRC on the snow. And if I was racing, running this in the stage like these guys, I would not be paying attention to where I was going. I'd be just like, oh, this is a lot of fun driving in the snow. And going over the jumps and just absolutely enjoying their time out of it. And as we were mentioning just before we got back into the stage, the lighting engine has been massively improved. Even added upon. And just makes it look even more stunning than it did before.
Yeah, for sure. The lighting really, really nice. I love going to snow locations in real life as well, because just the lighting that you can get in real life for like photographs and all of that is brilliant, and that's replicated very well in game. And one of the things also, seeing as you were talking about the handling and all of that, you've still got that high grip, high traction. Although the corner that PJ was going through there, very gravelly. You can see that the road changes color a little bit to become a bit more gravelly, and that's where you lose the grip. Paradoxically, on snow, because of the studded tires, they have so much grip and traction. It's almost like driving on tarmac, but where you can drift it through the corners. It's a very unique driving style, which up until about 20 years ago, with Sebastian Loeb winning the Rally Sweden, only the Scandinavians could master those conditions 100%, and so you got to do a lot of old techniques like Scandinavian flicks, as we saw PJ demonstrate perfectly there. And it's a very good surface to drive on, very fun, and because it's open roads in Scandinavian countries, you can go flat out, although maybe not that much flat out, all the way over the snowbank and back out the other side, replicating, I think, Elfyn Evans in 2023, if I remember correctly, just going over the snowbank at the finish line and completing the stage that way. PJ's got a little bit more to go, but he recovered from that one very well, it must be said.
Yeah, when you need to recover, when in doubt, flat out is usually my way of doing it. But yeah, PJ very well recovered there, and coming up towards the end of our second stage here in Sweden. And we do have one more stage as we see Ancephalosys. I think he's going to need a repair on that car, I'll be honest with you. Hopefully someone's collected his boot and they can get it back on the car before we get to the third stage running.
Yeah, that's the thing with these cars. You're always going quick enough to do some damage. And, you know, with the aerodynamics being so important to these cars, you can't afford. I think Vlembar is the winner of that stage, followed by Ryan and Henry Cookie in third place, with Punju and Mr. Bailey really just a couple of seconds behind. You have quite a few gaps there, actually. You know, when the speed increases, the problem is when you lose track of the car so fast as a driver, and so a little mistake, as we saw, turns into a huge mistake with a fast car. I think we are getting an interview, and let's just stay tuned for that. As you can say, confirmation there, the Vlembar is the winner of that stage with one stage to go in Sweden. I think we are getting an interview with Ryan L83, as I'm being told, and here he is. So, Ryan, with 2 stages done with this Hyundai, how does it feel? How does the new update feel?
Oh, it feels good. I love the Hyundai 21 car. It's up there in my top 5 favourite cars. I mean, I've only just recently got into the rally scene a couple of years ago, maybe 5-10 years ago. So it's a nice car. It's very stable. Even with the baseline set we've got on, it's very nice to drive. It's quite a handful, but it's fun. It's fun little combo, this car and Rally Sweden with the new stages. It's really, really nice and really fun to drive.
And the stages, that Umeå stage, very, very tricky, isn't it, with the junctions? How do you adapt to these high snowbanks? Because that's the difference, really, between the old Sweden stages and the new stages that we get in the update. How do you adapt to that?
I mean, some of the banks you can take from my little testing I've done a few days ago when I was doing stuff. But, yeah, some areas you can get away with the banking, but then some of the snowbanks you can't. You just spin or get a lot of damage, which I kind of experienced on the first stage when I went a bit too full pelt into one corner and decided to have a little roll, but I'm sure the fans would like that. But yeah, it's a mix of soft and hard banks. You just need to really think about when you're doing these stages, when anyone who's watching this is going to be taking on these stages, just to learn the stage, learn specific areas of where the snowbanks are, where you can get away with it, and some you have to be very careful about. So yeah, it's going to be interesting over the next few days.
All right, I think we'll let you go into the next stage, Ryan. But thank you for your inputs there. Lovely to hear that you're enjoying the updates, and yeah, thank you for the good detailed explanation there. I hope you do well on the next stage as well. And
you can get to hear
him off before we get the update. We didn't get.
I'll repeat it for him. I really thank you, John. It's very nice of you to say that. Well, thank you, Ryan. We really appreciate you jumping in for an interview for us.
As we've got preview as well of the Ford here as well in Rally Greece. This one of the most iconic cars for me. You know, this is when McRae transitioned from Subaru to the Ford team, and everybody just expected this car to have endless problems, but it didn't. Although it was disqualified in Rally Monte Carlo for an illegal water pump, in round 3, Safari Rally Kenya, which was a lot longer and a lot tougher than the event that they have nowadays, they won. They didn't have many problems at all, and other people had huge amount of problems, and he ended up winning 2 rounds that season, although he did sadly DNF 8 rounds toward the end of the season in a row, not via just crashing, but also a few car teething issues, basically. It proved its potential, and sadly, the Ford team didn't win a championship like they wanted to with McRae, but that's probably one of the most iconic hard chargers of all time. If in doubt, go flat out, and that is what we are all about here. As we've got Ryan going through the stage, testing with the lights once again. It can be very difficult, especially if you get stuck on top of a snowbank. You need to find a way over. Using a bigger snowbank to go over a smaller snowbank, that's a technique I haven't seen before.
That's why we bring Ryan along to these things. He thinks that not many other people would. And yeah, I mean, it is incredible. As just you mentioning about, you know, Colin McRae, even though he didn't pull off a championship win in that Ford like they wanted to, it's not all about winning a championship sometimes. It's about creating that iconic partnership, which they did, as you mentioned, John. You are very much more knowledgeable than I am about that, but I imagine that would be the case. And these guys right now in these hard-charging Hyundai i20s in the brand new DLC hard chargers, which is out today. Let me remind everyone that it is out right now. You can come and play it after the stream. They are very much enjoying going around Sweden. And Ryan,
that's a tree.
That's a tree. He's gone over the snowbank and he thought, I've saved this, and unfortunately there was a tree in the way. Trees do not break.
I'll tell you what, we had both perspectives there. Ryan going wide and into a tree on the outside, and Jam nearly rolling it on the bank on the inside. As you said, the roads are quite narrow, and yeah, as Ryan found out, you know, a small mistake, a small error in braking can really be detrimental. That's one of the things. There's a lot of grip in Sweden. However, on the brakes, you still need to be careful about locking up, because as soon as you lock up, the studs in the tire are not working anymore, and so you just slide along the top of the surface or tear the surface up completely, and that's the end of that. But it looks like the drivers are really having a lot of fun there. You can see Punju just chucking the car from left to right, Scandinavian flick, very old school driving. I do love to see it, and it looks like he is doing that inch perfectly there through those junctions, and he looks like to be having a lot of fun right there. Oh, a little tap of the bank there. Not to worry, there's another one to save him on the outside, but it can be very easy to get drawn onto the top of those snowbanks and just to get stuck. Not that it's happened to me at all in the previewing that I've been doing myself.
No, I believe you, John. A champion like you wouldn't get stuck on the snow in this stage. But I was about to say about with the snowbanks, I feel like in a way it gives you a second chance to remake the corner, but also it is a very big detriment if you get it wrong. It's sort of like a, you know, if you succeed at it, you're a champion. If you fail at it, then you've got like, oh well, you know, you had two outs there.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, you've got a chance to catch it. I'm just laughing because I was watching Punju there, and indeed Aerotech, which nearly hit the top of the tunnel there. That is one of the things in the reverse section of the Umeå stage, just after the spectator zone that you start off with. It can be very narrow tunnel. That, and if you're in a fast car, it might be possible to graze the top of the tunnel there. I've got to do some more testing, but I'm convinced it's possible, and maybe we can get somebody to in the next few days to get a video of that, because that would be awesome. But yeah, you've got to either chicken out on that little jump there, or just go hard charging into it and hope for the best. No pun intended right there.
No, I would definitely go hard and fast into that tunnel. I mean, you know, maybe you graze a bit of the roof, take a little bit of the paint job off, but with the brand new liveries in this game, you can put another one on, and it's even better. And we see Aerotech here, who's very much enjoying, I think, his time in that Hyundai i20. Right now, he's a man we always love watching in the WRC on the Creator Series, and I am sure that he's going to be loving these cars. But can I point out as well, we've obviously gone down to more of a, you know, nighttime stage. It's a lot darker on the stage, but it's also still looking stunning with the way the lighting bounces off of the thing. Oh, as it almost goes into a tree. But Aerotech, very happy that he's held that one.
What a recovery over the top of the snowbank, using the deep snow to slow down, and then just pops back out onto the junction. A little bit of handbrake, Aerotech style, and just flooring it afterwards. That's the sign of a true drifter right there, just absolutely flat out. And yeah, that's the problem with these stages. The junctions are unforgiving, and that's what you've got to really commit to. It's a very different type of stage, but that's what I love. I love variety, and so that means that in Sweden you've got just all of the potential to have a great rally. And I think this is, yeah, towards the end of the stage, flat out for at least, I'd say, 500 meters now. Just got to keep it pinned. Hopefully you don't hit the rev limiter. I can hear he's on the rev limiter already. Just want to shout out as well, Codemasters, for the Craig Breen livery, number 42. Lovely stuff. Love to see it. And he's always in our hearts, is Craig Breen. And it's great to see them pay tribute to him once again. So it's lovely to see. Jam getting to the finish line now. He's had a few taps with the banks, a little bit of parts hanging off there, but always a very fast line as well. The level of these drivers is very high. So, you know, even last place is really good driving for context. And it looks like we have Mr. Bailey, Stephen Bailey, in third place, Punju fourth. Do not have our top two there, but I'm going to guess that it is possibly Vlembar, and I see Ryan there. So it's Henry Cookie there in
Wow.
second place.
Look
Vlembar
at that
takes
gap.
500ths of a second. Can you believe it? Look at that. Also, Vlembar better on his tires. Somebody will have to take a look at that. But yeah, Vlembar very, very good at preserving his tires and getting a very good exit out of the corners. That is his speciality. So it does not surprise me. But look at those gaps. Less than three seconds between the top four. Just over 5 seconds between the top five. So there is all the elements there of having a very, very close rally, a bit like the previous Swedish stages. So that's what I love about this rally. It's like a tarmac rally where tenths of a second truly matter, and Vlembar takes it then on our first rally with Henry Cookie just a few seconds behind. I think Henry Cookie will be really annoyed about his first stage there, with Stephen Bailey in third place, just beating out Punju and Ryan, who are having a battle fourth and fifth. We are about to get another interview with Stephen Bailey. Here we go.
Oh my
That
word.
looks like a wonderful drive from you. And just off the top, boys, but a few mistakes as we saw. How did you like that really hard-charging event in Sweden?
Honestly, it was all right. By my standards, I think that was quite good. Honestly, I usually have like 2 out of 3 stages which are quite bad, but there was only one there that was a little bit iffy. Yeah. Only a couple of misjunctions.
Yeah, I was talking about how difficult those junctions are to spot. It's quite a different rally with the snowbanks, isn't it?
It is. They're very hard. There's no real visual guide for where the braking point is. So, and the way this particular the i20 as well on its default setup is quite almost weak on its brakes. So you got to actually just get it slowed up quite early. Otherwise, you'll just be missing those junctions. Very different experience from the original stages. Very different.
I tend to miss my braking zones all the time, so I didn't notice.
This is a lie.
Potentially weak brakes on there.
He's lying to you.
Esports finalist, Creator Series 2-time champion. I hear.
Moving on from that, we've now got a preview of the Ford Focus WRC 99 at Greece. Have you driven the Greek stages, and what do you think of them?
Was that what we're doing? Okay.
Oh, yeah, spoilers.
We've got the video playing, is what I mean.
Oh, I see. I see. I gotcha. No, the Greek stage. I think this new one might be one of my favourite in the game already. I don't get on necessarily particularly well with it, but it's an awesome bit of road. It flows a bit more than the original stages. For me, there's a bit more variety in it. It's really fun. Really fun.
Yeah, totally agree. I think the main thing of this DLC for me, I want your opinion of it, obviously, as well. But the changes in tempo in the stages, especially the Greek stages, where you've got some hairpin sections and then you go flat out into these water splash sections, and you've really got to change your pace, and it just doesn't leave you any room for taking your time to adapt to the stage.
No, not at all, which is, for me, a little bit of a problem, really. Little bit of a problem. Sorry, I had to step my car there. But yeah, I very much like the variety in these stages. The water splashes are, I think the first half has got the most water splashes in any rally, full stop, on this one.
Yeah, indeed. It's wonderful to have you describe the stage as well. Just as we were going through water splashes, you timed it perfectly.
Wonderful.
It's almost you have a view of our footage right now. But we're going to leave you get into the stages in Greece with that Renault Clio Rally 3. So best of luck to you, and thank you for your time in the interview.
Thank you very much.
And look at that. I just love watching footage of that 99 Focus. Very old school, just... It's brilliant. I will admit I'm a fan of this DLC.
He's a fanboy. That's what it is. He's a fanboy of this car. You got his hopes up there, John. You thought he was going to be driving that car later, but we're driving something much better for the Greek stages now, and it is very much a different kind of stage in Greece and a very different type of car. So, John, as the expert, would you like to take us through what may be different going into this couple of stages?
Well, with the Greek stages, you've got a lot of hairpins, you've got a lot of changes in road surface as well. One of the things I tested was actually the track degradation and all of that, and with the bumps with track degradation, which you can't see here, this was a time trial, so the road surface looks pretty pristine by Greek standards, but the road really has these deep ruts that you have to contend with. I'd say even bigger ruts than on the existing Greek stages. So with the fast sections, as you can see here, one little mistake and you're going sideways, you've got no braking or traction, and it can be all over. But especially with cars like the Renault Clio Rally 3, I'd say that was my biggest surprise of this DLC. The Rally 3 and Rally 4 cars, very fun to drive, very playful, a bit oversteery, and the Rally 3 version of the Renault Clio has a lot of power, 260 brake horsepower, if I noted that down correctly. So that's getting on to nearly World Rally car levels of power. It's nearly got the same power as the Ford Focus that you're seeing right here. So it's incredible to drive, and so you can just commit so much to the corners, because paradoxically, because it's a modern chassis compared to the Focus, you actually have more grip. And as we can see now, we are into the Greek stages. Oh, Henry Cookie, I thought he was going off there. As you could, I really thought he was going off, but you can carry speed through there. It does have a bit of downforce.
It certainly does. I was just listening to the engine sounds. That is a glorious sounding engine that he's revving very much going through this first Greek stage here. He's very close to going off the edge there. I mean, this reminds me, I think me and you commentated, John, we did was it Iberia we did? Very similar sort of mountainish passes and a similar sort of feel in Rally.
Yes, well, apart from the fact that they actually had sort of tarmac roads for these mountain passes in Iberia, yeah, sure. But no, it is true. It does give a very sort of reminiscence of Iberia, just a gravel rally Iberia, this stage, with a lot of twisty but, like, say, medium speed corners for a gravel rally, where you've really got to commit to it. And I must admit, Henry Cook is doing a great job of this so far. He recovered it very well, and that's one of the things, is these Rally 3 cars are very drivable, easy to get into the four-wheel drive and learn from these cars before you're ready to step up to, like, the WRC car. This is not Harvati. This is trying to get Pericora, is the best way I'd pronounce this stage name, although I'm probably butchering that. Oh, he's off the road now. Yep, all the way down. And can he recover it? But put it in first gear, just dump the clutch, and no, he's going for a reset. So that is a disaster for Henry Cookie right straight away. It's, you've only got a limited amount of grip. You can't just chuck it into the corners. But you could see how the car turned in, and he could still try and make the stage there, going through the water splash. They can catch you out. You've got to get the car set up quite well. So they're deceptively deep, those water splashes, and they do slow the car. And even though he's had that reset penalty, he is still ahead of Ryan L83, who's also had an off, because I think, apart from if that's active aerodynamics that I'm not aware of, there's a tiny bit of damage to that car.
Yeah, I was going to point out that Ryan may be behind, but he looks like he's had a little bit of a collision with something. I'm going to guess a rock, or maybe a cliffside, but Ryan is still running it in the Clio. It's looking very nice indeed, and I've also got to point out the lovely livery that it has on it as well. It's very nice.
That Castrol livery, I didn't discover it at first, but I thought, oh, there's a livery selection here. What's it going to be? Castrol livery. Thumbs up, 10 out of 10, lovely stuff. This car and these Rally 3 cars as well, going back to the sounds, as you said, Ryan just clipped the rocks there. Lucky to get away with that. There's a lot of things you can hit, and they do bite quite hard, these rocks as well, so you want to stay in the middle of the stages sometimes, although Ryan looks very, very confident and committed here. Looks very concentrated as per his webcam as well. That's the thing also, you can have the time of your life, but you're concentrating so much that you've just got to stay focused, as we've got RSC JPH as well, doing the traditional, very old school driving. Do love to see it. And Mr. Bailey, Stephen Bailey, is first at the moment. Oh, Ryan's got it wrong into the water splash. I think he went for the handbrake a little bit too early, and the front tires just got stopped by the water, and he got flicked around there. One of the things I wanted to mention just briefly about the sound. I went to Rally Monte Carlo this year, and the Rally 1 cars were very loud. Rally 2 cars were loud as Ryan goes up the bank as well. He's having a stage and a half, isn't he? The Rally 3 cars and Rally 4 cars were by far the loudest cars, paradoxically, of the entire Rally Monte Carlo. And so the sound of these cars is very old school, the pop and crackles of the anti-lag, and it's insane the amount of power to get through a 1.3 litre engine, 260 brake horsepower. That's insane.
I mean, it is insane considering, you know, you wouldn't in a normal car. If you looked at the Renault Clio normally, you wouldn't think that's gonna have that much horsepower in it, but it is quite incredible watching it go around this rally. Oh my god, JPH!
Wow.
On that left-hand side, didn't even blink. He just kept on driving like nothing had happened. I mean, he is quite a stoic man for sure, and he is looking fantastic in the Clio there, and he's really enjoying his time out there by the looks of it.
He is pushing. My days, that was incredible to watch. Just flicking it left and right at the perfect timing. It looked so out of control and so yet in control that I was convinced that we were going to see a crash there. But that is the type of confidence that these cars bring, and they just entice you to go faster and faster, to just find your pace, find your limits, as we have PEGI not in the Hyundai, but indeed in the Ford, as I can see. And yeah, the Ford as well, very good car still. You know, nothing against the Ford. It's got, I'd say, a little bit more drivability than the Clio. So you've got a choice between horsepower or drivability. So the choice is yours, and they are pretty evenly balanced in terms of pace, at least from the brief testing that I did. So very nice to see some car classes getting fleshed out a little bit. Obviously, the Renault Clio Rally 3 is a recent addition to even the World Rally stages. Only in 2023 was the car homologated. Oh, it just tapped the tree and into another tree, the double whammy, and into the rocks on the reversing. As you know, the common theme with this DLC is the road is quite narrow, isn't it?
Yeah, I think both different. We've been to Sweden and Greece now, and they've all been very narrow roads, and it has caused a bit of problem for both of the cars we've seen, of the Ford and the Clio. Now the livery on the Ford as well, looking very nice indeed. As they come across, that appears to be Anzefalosis, who's decided that he's going to finish the rally on his roof. But he's come back going straight, and you know what? He has finished it. He was just saying going sideways there. That's all he was saying.
Style points, that's fine. It's not the first time we've seen that at the stage ends there as well. In real life rally, there have been cars going off on that last corner because it's sort of an off-camber corner, and so you just slide toward the outside. There's a bank on the outside. There's not much you can do about it. So Stephen Bailey wins the stage by 2.4 seconds exactly over Henry Cookie, and then a huge gap to Punju there, just demonstrating the sort of confidence of Lembar. A 9-second penalty, I think that was. So that's it happens going off the road. So I think we've got an interview with maybe Punju here coming up. So it'd be lovely to hear his thoughts on the new DLC. Hello, Mr. Punju, if you can hear us.
Hello. Yes, I can.
So that was a pretty good stage from you, wasn't it?
No.
Are you? No.
Did you guys? I rolled into a creek.
We did not catch that on the broadcast, but it seems to be rolled in.
I rolled into the creek, landed on my wheels, and just like, oh, I guess I'm good. And I just kind of drove out really slowly and no reset. So I was like, okay, great. I guess I'm good.
The true Greek experience, TM.
Yeah,
so you're enjoying it.
Oh, I'm loving it. Honestly, Greece stages are always my favorite. Greece is probably my favorite rally on the game. Very unpopular opinion, I know, but I love the difficulty of it. The random rocks that just are out there to get you that you never can see ever in advance. I find it super fun, and just the gravel. Actually, it's really the gravel compound. You can just smash throttle, power slide your way out of anything. It's way too fun, and this car is great too. This Renault's really fun.
We had Stephen Bailey in for an interview previously, and what he said was that the stages are more open and flowing, and it's a different kind of I described as a tempo. So is that the same thoughts that you have, and like what would you compare it to?
Yeah, I would say this is. I agree with what he's saying. When it comes like a lot more open and flowy. It just feels like ready to be driven hard, and like you can really rip your way around it and have a lot of fun with it. And I just really enjoy this Greece update. This is really, really good. I also like the extra water splashes too. I love them. So yeah, it's good.
You could say we could be hard charging through the stages here, couldn't we?
Bang.
Anyway, we'll leave you to
it. You can say that. Thanks, man.
On that note, but thank you ever so much for your time. It's time for you to go into the next stage, I think.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
I couldn't resist. My apologies.
No, that was good. I mean, if I was doing it, I would have said it. It was very well done. But yeah, no, I'd like to hear from Punju as well, one of our personal favourites here on the WRC Creator Series, as we have some more footage being shown here. This is just our B-reel, but B-roll, sorry, not B-reel. That's a different thing. B-roll being shown of Greece, and it gives John more time to look at his favourite car in the history of cars.
We are being very real about our praise for this new DLC, however. Another one right there. Just talking about the DLC as well, we've not been showcasing perhaps the liveries so much, but I just pulled out a few of my favourite liveries that are now in the game. We've got Malcolm Wilson's Michelin Pilote livery, the yellow and blue livery on that beautiful Ford Escort Cosworth from 1993. We have the factory Ford and Stobart liveries from 2006 and 2010, if I remember correctly, respectively. For the 2008 Focus, lovely Stobart livery, lovely. It would be great to see it on the Mark II Escort as well. That's just a personal request because I've seen it so many times on that car as well. But we've also got the Peugeot 206 original livery from 1999, the white SO livery, as I call it. But it's a Marcus Grönholm livery, so fans of Marcus Grönholm will love to drive that. We've also got, and again, I'm going to reference Craig Breen, the 208. Oh, as that's Aerotech up the bank and miraculously saved it somehow up there. But those banks do not forgive and do not forget. He's going over the inside of the turn this time. He is determined to use all of the road, isn't he?
Well, I mean, if it's there, you're going to put your car into it, aren't you? You've got to use what you've been given, and Aerotech is certainly doing that. We are now onto a short stage, which is stage number 2, which is, I think I'm going to pronounce it... I was going to pronounce it as Poseidon, but I don't think it is spelled that. I think it's Poseidon.
I'll take your word for it. Good. I'm glad I'm not the one pronouncing it.
You know what I'm here for, John. I'm great at pronouncing stage names, as we found out through the last couple of streams. But yeah, no, these guys are very much enjoying this second stage. Now, what are we expecting here, John? Are we expecting more perilous mountain passes as they are going through now?
So if I've noticed this correctly, this is the second half of the Harvati stage, running its sort of Ford's format, as they call it, not the reverse format, which is I don't want to call it made up. It's just a reverse of the stage as it's run in real life, basically. So this is the very twisty section. It goes up into the mountains after the initial phase of the stage, and so you've got a lot of these hairpin switchbacks where you have to get the weight transfer correct. And oh, Spongy just clips the rock on the inside. 360. Can he keep it going? Yes, lovely. We love to see it. Brilliant stuff. And that is the type of maneuvers that you can pull off. But yeah, as you can see, the rocks still can catch you out, and so it forces you to sort of really pay attention to, you know, how much you can push. And yeah, to be fast on these stages, you really have to just carry momentum, use the handbrake a lot, go on power as early as possible. But there are a few sections towards the end where it really gets fast and all the way over 2 wheels, literally into the voids there. And yeah, Punju is really pushing hard during this one. He looks like he is having time of his life up until that corner, put it that way. But you can see he's really getting into it with the, you know, the way he turns into the corners. His whole body's going with the car sometimes, and that is sometimes a thing that I see with a lot of drivers when they're just at one with the stage and at one with the bike. That was a commentator's curse right there. It's not my first one. Oh. Definitely won't be my last one.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was at one with the tree towards the end of that stage, but yeah, that's certainly not what Punju would have wanted. I mean, it was quite a spectacular crash, but he has carried back on with a bit of a reset penalty. He may need to go to you know, auto glass repair to get that window replaced, but he can do that at the end. Other brands are, yeah, we should mention that at the time. We are on the stage now with Vlembar going in the FC the Renault Clio Rally number 3, and it is looking spectacular, and they're enjoying it out here. Vlembar, would this be sort of his area of expertise, John? You know him better than probably anyone else because you've rallied against him quite a few times.
I've yet to find a stage or location where it isn't his area of expertise. He's a very consistent driver, and it looks like Mr. Bailey is just a few seconds behind. As you can see, two or three corners behind, I'd say. So Vlembar really pulling out. Oh, you can see the face of Stephen Bailey there. just as he locked the brakes and realised that he'd broken like at least 2 postcodes too late into that junction. But lovely on the handbrake, recovering it, and I think he was counting his lucky stars that that car turned in there. But that won't help him for this downhill section, as he needed all the confidence he could get, and I think that's just evaporated right now.
Yeah, I mean, those are one of those moments where you sort of kind of press the brakes and hope for the best. And luckily for Stephen, it did kind of work out in the way, and he gave himself very much a scare. But he's back and driving with a full focus once again. But yeah, I mean, look at the gaps down on the edge. Like, there's a little bit of barrier there. No, it's gone now. Make sure you don't go off that edge, because that will be the end of your, I was going to say of your race, but I do apologise, of your stage. So they are doing their best job. You do not want to end up like Punju did a few moments ago, but they are, as we mentioned before, thoroughly enjoying it as the sun is setting here in Greece.
I will say something that maybe I noticed when just playing these stages is that it looked quite smooth, the stage, but on the force feedback, on the feeling of the car, you can actually feel the little bumps that there are, even with no surface degradation, I think, as the stage is being played right now. And so you've got a lot of feeling, and that's what I think the latest updated stages are bringing to the table in terms of quality, is just that road feeling, that feeling of being on the edge of the grip all the time. And I really took a lot of enjoyment, especially on these Greek stages, just feeling where the car lost grip, where there was a little bump to unsettle the car, as they are absolutely sending it here. Just wanted to note the times also at the top were literally, I think Vlembar first, and then 1.6 seconds to P2, I think it was Ryan L83, and then Stephen Bailey in third place, or just a little bit of understeer. I'm just going a little bit too hot into that water splash. Very tricky to get that one right, because you want to go full throttle into there. So it was Vlembar winning the stage with Ryan L83. Oh, BJ in the John Armstrong liveried Fiesta. That is an updated livery. I've just realised why he has taken the Fiesta there. That is the updated livery of John Armstrong. And just going for a little roll, John was really fast on his, I think, 2022 season of Junior WRC, and so it's great to see the livery in game going absolutely flat out as usual. Another hard charger, it must be said.
Certainly was, and yeah, maybe his boot was a bit broken, but just gave him a bigger rear spoiler, which gave him a bit more downforce.
Active, of course.
But yeah, exactly, active downforce. But yeah, Vlembar once again fastest in that stage, 6.07, 4 seconds faster than Ryan, who did a very good time, I must say. Ryan up in second place, very impressive indeed, with Stephen Bailey about 7 seconds behind him. That is very impressive indeed. Sorry, Sean, carry on.
Interesting to see the tires. Sorry to interrupt you there, but
no worries.
I just wanted to note the tires there. You had an interesting thing of hards, mediums. So the tire strategy appears to be very, changeable depending on your driving style. I'm hearing that we've got another interview with Mr. Drifter himself, Mr. Aerotech. You looked like, you were having a lot of fun with the Sweden stages, but on those switchbacks here in Greece as well, just hanging it out to just full throttle around these hairpins. This is your type of driving, isn't it?
A little bit. I was just saying to the boys, I noticed at one point in that stage I was third, and Ryan was like a 10th ahead of me, and I said to the stream, gotta lock in, and then I looked forward and went, oh, I didn't brake, and drove straight off a cliff. So maybe that part was it, but yeah, like the middle part of the stage is like corner into corner into corner into corner, especially the Renault. If you just turn in really hard and use a little bit of the foot brake, the rear end comes around really nice. I think JPH put it best when we were talking to each other. This is a really good way to learn all-wheel drive, or if you're new to rally at all, just to learn how to drive on loose surfaces. It's been a blast. This is a really fun stage, too.
Yeah, the chassis, as you say, the chassis and the power, really good to learn the four-wheel drive cars. I'm getting news that you're going into the final stage there, Harvati, so good luck with that, and I hope you get to the end of it. It's quite a long stage, so yeah, all the best.
Yeah, I'm going to need it. It's been a rough day.
Well, we hope that he gets the end of that one. The Harvati being, I think it's 14 kilometers long,
yes,
if I noted it down correctly. That's quite a lot in Greece. It may not sound like a lot for the Swedish Umeå stage, but that's in a straight line. This is, how would I describe it? Oh yes, not in a straight line.
Yeah, what we might consider a corner in the world of motorsport. But yeah, It's interesting, yeah. Write that one down. But no, this is going to be very interesting indeed to see where this goes. This will unfortunately be the last stage we were showing off today for the DLC. But if you want more DLC action, you can get the DLC right now, Hard Chargers Pack for WRC, and basically drive it yourself. You don't have to listen to us commentating it. You can go and drive this for yourself right now with all the new cars, all the new liveries, and of course all the new stages with Sweden and Greece being in there. I mean, John, it has very much been enjoyable, and we got one more stage to have a look through before we very end off. But let's look through this stage. It's going to be great.
Yeah, this start to Harvati stage starts really aggressive. You got to go into it. A lot of corners, as you can see from JPH there. Just 5th gear corners, 4th gear, 5th gear, and you've just got to carry the speed as much as possible. A lot of trail braking required, which most of the times on Greece, not a problem. But here you've really got to commit to those corners. And Ryan, as you can see, RC JPH just carrying momentum a little bit, being a bit smoother, whereas Ryan is sort of overcompensating, drifting a lot. And although this car has quite a bit of brake horsepower, it does like being driven smoothly. And so, you know, that loss of momentum can... as Aerotech said, actually, I'll take Aerotech's words, it's a great way to learn four-wheel drive and how to drive smoothly for like the Rally 1 cars, because they enjoy being driven smoothly with the aerodynamics. So it's a great starter car, great junior car as it is in real life. And that, again, JPH is driving inch perfect at the moment. This is incredible to watch. Just from a spectator's point of view, especially with the camera on the rear of the car, so you can see how close they're getting to the rocks. They have no idea in car how close they are to disaster, but we can definitely see it. And I hope for anybody who gets the DLC that they don't come as close to disaster as this, although sometimes it is quite fun to go over the limit, I suppose.
Well, it's got to push that limit. You got to find the limit, you have to push the limit, and they are certainly doing that here in Greece this afternoon, or actually the early evening as it is now. But Ancephalosis enjoying the Renault Clio, certainly a man who always enjoys racing here in WRC, and I'm sure by the fact that the way he's moving that steering wheel and the way he's concentrating right now, he is absolutely locked in and he is thoroughly enjoying his ride. Look at that fist bump in the air as well. He's very happy with how this is going for him.
Oh, he's late braking there. I was about to say, this section you've got to be really, really careful because there's a water splash at the end of it. And that's the thing, the changing tempo, the changing rhythm of this stage is really enjoyable because no matter which section you choose of the 6 sections of or the 6 different layouts of stage that you can choose, you've got always a different scenario to confront yourselves with. So it's one that I've enjoyed going back and just replaying. I've played it probably about 10 times now already with the limited time that I've had available. Something about a creator series that I had to participate in. Wonder what the info is about that. But it's really, really nice to just have that variety. And, you know, that's what Rally is all about. Just having those things that you never thought of, those little inconveniences during the stage that are there to catch you out, but feel very satisfying to overcome and to get right for the very first time. And perhaps on these Greek stages you won't get it right first time, but trying again, getting it right the second time, lovely, lovely stuff.
They say practice makes perfect, and that is what they'll be doing because they're going to be playing this all the time as Ancephalosis. Well, I'm going to say he's going to need to practice that bit again, and maybe and that bit again. He appears to have found himself in a bit of a gully. Now I can tell you folks, this is not the optimal route of the rally, but he has found his way out and back onto the gravel surface. That seemed a bit bumpy for Ancephalosis. I imagine that's not done wonders to the bottom of his Renault Clio. Yes,
that's what we commonly call rally raids. Now, that's a different type of motorsport right there. And I don't think the Rally 3 Renault Clio is the best car for that. But, you know, that's the danger. That's the danger of Rally Greece. If you go offline, if you go off the road, suddenly you find out that the road is the only maintained bit of the stage. And that's one thing that I found when going to a real-life Rally Greece as well, is that if you just go half a meter from the stage, there's huge rocks, huge boulders, even just mounds of earth that are just left there from, I don't know, the road resurfacing or whatever, and it just catches you out. And just from walking the stage as well, the amount of ruts that dig into the stage, you know, the tires dig into the stage. It's quite a sandy surface on top, so the surface is ever changing, and that's what the surface degradation in game really demonstrates as well, which is lovely to see. But the grip levels here are very inconsistent, and as you can see, some drivers do get caught out. One of the drivers not getting caught out though is our CJPH. He's really doing a good job on this one. I think he's actually leading for the moment, although it's a little bit mixed images there, because I'm seeing he's fastest on one sector, but then red sector afterwards, and he's off the stage. Oh, that's the second biggest curse.
John.
That was many stages. I do personally apologise to our CJPH for this one.
John, you've done that twice now to two different drivers. I mean, normally I'm the one that curses them when I'm commentating with good old TK, but no. When you're here, John, with me, you seem to take my shine away from it, but it's fine. At least I'm not the one that has to write the checks for destroying their lovely cars. But, oh, he's done it again. Now I've commentated, cursed him now. But Aerotech on the right-hand side, trying his best on this very tricky gravel surface. Oh, a little bit of two wheels there for a short time. He's looking very good as well. As I think he thought he was going down that road, but I think he's realised he's got to go left.
Looked like he was doing a bit of truck driving, then trying to rotate. Oh, well, yeah.
No.
Just double whammy into the rocks there, and it just flips the car over. It can go so wrong so fast, and he was lucky to get that back on the four wheels there, just literally down to first gear, and away he goes again as if nothing happened. But yeah, it did look like the car did not want to turn in there. He was trying to go on the brakes and turn at the same time, and no matter how much steering lock you put on, it just isn't going to turn anymore. Aerotech over the limit again. The bank saved him a little bit, lucky there, but they are pushing the limits of this last stage, wanting to get everything out of this last run here, maybe try and gain a few positions. But this is what I was saying, this end of stage here just flattens out a little bit. You can get a little bit more momentum here, and after you've spent 3 or 4 sectors on very twisty roads, you don't have the feeling of the car at high speed, and you've got to get used to it again. And it's always on those first 2 or 3 turns, as we just saw, that it gets a little bit out of hand, and you just got to rein yourself in a little bit. Aerotech only 23 seconds off the pace, so those crashes haven't really made a huge difference, as Jam up the bank as well. It's all kicking off right now.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at Aerotech. He is lucky that when he's crashing, the rock barrier as well. I say the rock barrier, they're piles of rocks next to the side of the gravel, but they are keeping him from flying off of the edge. But Jam isn't too far behind him on this occasion. It looks like Henry Cookie on that left-hand side is at the top at the moment. I'm sure Vlembar is not too far behind him, along with Steve Bailey is there as well. These guys are thoroughly enjoying their last runs of today's stream, and really giving it the proper, giving this car the proper respect, giving this stage the proper respect it deserved, because it has been thrilling so far. I mean, if you were watching this if you were driving this, John, or maybe an actual championship, would you be taking it a little bit more calmly than these guys are? Would you be going flat out like them?
I must admit, I'm a driver that enjoys going flat out. There's always that thing of, if you back off, you lose the sense of the corners, you lose the feeling, and so the braking points become different, the turn-in points become different, the amount of speed. Oh, big tap from Ryan there. I don't think that's a puncture, but he got very lucky with that one. Just the bodywork saving him right there from absolute disaster with 1 sector to go. So yeah, I think pushing the limits on these stages, 1 is fun, but 2 also might even be safer, because you can get the good rotation on the car, and so the hairpins aren't quite as difficult to negotiate, especially with the good chassis turn-in that this car has. But that goes also for the Focus, as we saw during the replay there. It's good turn-in, lots of fun with the handbrake, so you just got to go for it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion as well, as someone who does a lot of more F1 racing than WRC racing, you can't tell a driver to slow down and take it slowly. They want to go fast and enjoy what they've been given, and they are certainly enjoying that this evening, and they have proven to us that a lot of these guys are hard chargers and are using the cars that they have been given in this brand new DLC to their full effect on this brand new stage that we are showing off here today. Stephen Bailey almost finishing up his time in the Renault Clio 3, taking a big deep breath there, I think, as he realises he's finally finished.
It's 10 minutes of stages. It takes
Yeah.
the wind out of your sails sometimes. But you could see the nervous smile there from Stephen Bailey with about 10 corners to go, just as he was enjoying the stage, but the stage was also demanding every single bit of effort from him. So one thing that you won't get with these stages is a lovely Sunday cruise, as PJ's about to go all the way up the bank and onto the roof for a lovely view of the gravel, briefly back on four wheels. This has happened every single time. The car has turned to four wheels. We've not had anybody stuck on their roof, which is incredible. And across the line with lights flashing. Lovely stuff. This is not Rally Kenya, where they have to get the lights to do that to avoid wildlife. But there we go. A lovely demonstration as we've got Ancephaloses across the line to round this one out. We did have a few retirements, it looks. Oh, no, that's our cameras. No, avoid that. Gareth DNF'd anyway. Don't worry about it. That's
he would have DNF'd no matter if he was driving or not. So
this time he's DNF'd twice as well. As we've got Henry Cookie with the win on that one, with Lembar in second place on that stage. Again, the tires are playing a bit of a piece in this one. As overall, not only is Gareth at the bottom, but Vlembar is at the top, and that 1.5 seconds to Stephen Bailey. It's just missing out that time that we saw him miss the jump or the turn there. That could have been that 1.5 seconds that he was missing. Henry Cookie in third place, with Ryan just a few seconds behind as well. So Henry taking that podium spot, with Aerotech just a few seconds behind Ryan as well. Also, so the gap's very, very close, with Punju, JPH, Jam, and PJ with Ancephaloses rounding it off as well. So them having quite a few of mistakes. I'm not sure if I just heard no interviews. So, that will be the last stage for this new DLC. But what a preview we've had. That was a lot of action, a lot of drama as well for our drivers, just proving that these stages demand everything from you.
Yeah, it certainly does, and that is exactly what we wanted to preview for you today, for everyone that's been watching and enjoying. But it's not just a preview anymore. You can go purchase yourself this DLC right this second. So once you've ended this stream, if you've enjoyed what you've seen, and I'm sure you have, because I certainly have, and John has as well, you can go get yourself the Hard Chargers DLC. 6 new cars, 18 new liveries, a new car class, and 12 new stages for the existing game locations, Sweden and Greece. It is all there for you in this Hard Chargers pack, and it is definitely worth picking it up, because WRC has only grown bigger, especially in the sim racing world, and you want to get more and more into it as more people get to play it and enjoy it.
Most definitely. I want to do a shout out as well to not only to EA for allowing us to put on this event, as I find it's been very, very fun to spectate myself as well. And also spectate myself during the co-drive as well. Didn't think of that. But there we go. The multifaceted spectating there. Spectating in a spectating. Lovely stuff. But also shout out to our creators who have joined us here. It looked like they had a lot of fun. A lot of smiles, a lot of nervous faces as well, especially on the Greek stages. But I think that is going to be just about it from us. Just want to do a shout out to Alex for being alongside me in the commentary box. Shout out to our producer Gareth Allen in the background as always. We sincerely hope that you have enjoyed this preview and indeed enjoyed the B-roll footage of us hitting various snowbanks and gravel bits as well. A very fun DLC. We hope you'll enjoy playing it as well. As we've said, it's out now. But that is all for us this evening. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we hope that you will enjoy, once again, this content. So from us in the commentary box, it'll be thank you ever so much for watching. Bye-bye for now, and have a good playthrough of the DLC.